How are you, boys and girls? All right, it's warm here, and it's quiet. Let's hit this just the way I sort of likes it. Uh, I don't even know where we even start. Uh, It's been it's been a day, man. Uh, let's click this. Hope everyone's having a pretty good weekend. Not weekend. Weekday. Weekday. Uh, hump day. Excuse me. Excuse me. Hump day. Uh, say that loud, and a lot of times fast people begin to think weird things. But it's you're halfway through your week. My phone is it still charged? It's semi-charged. So let's talk about a couple of things. Larry Elder and the California recall. I'm not from California, uh, but before he takes a victory lap, I think everybody should realize that you got recalled in the first place. Um, Even though how you got recalled was a little weird because they let the ballots, not the ballots, the vote, the signature electing the signature gathering go on for like an additional 4 months or some shit. It was long. Um, but all up to this, they were saying it's close, it's close. Larry Elder has a shot. Then all of a sudden, he loses by 2-1. Who is polling these things? Who's the people always telling you that this is how it is, and then it turns out not to be that way? How come they don't leave their jobs for being sort of bad at it? Larry Elder, right? And but here's the thing about that as well. As soon as people started saying he was winning, they started bringing out ex girlfriends to say mean things about him. If this was the 50, they'd have hung him from a tree. Really, the Democratic Party is no different from the Republican Party. They do the same shitty things, and they trafficked in racism twice, right? Anybody going to really look after this Karen who threw eggs at him? Eggs, but like I said yesterday, this is the era of 9/11, right? This is the era uh, of shooting Republican Congressman. I want to say Scanlon, but it's not Scanlon on a baseball diamond at a charity baseball game, or shooting Democratic Congresswoman Gabby Gifford at I want to say it wasn't a It's Scalise. Thank you. Hey, William. It wasn't. She was shot. It wasn't a fundraiser. I think it was It wasn't a town hall meeting. Every now and then, congressmen. What do they call those things? Congressmen give you open. It's not open air meetings. It's you go and hear your congressman talking. You go, we've got too many potholes, and he goes, I am for you, and I'll fix your potholes. What is that? Excuse me. What is that called? They all do it. God dang it! It has a name, and I forgot it. Uh, and of course. All right, let's do this, and let's like this. Right. So you had two people shot. Um, and then he's running. You have people up in his zone, obviously hostile to him, and no one. Where was his security? I've got a ton of questions, but the media is the media, and the media doesn't want you asking these questions because it paints them badly because they took advantage of it. I think the media would have loved nothing more for Larry Elder to be shot or assassinated on, and then they would have been like, "Oh, let's look at his history." Larry Elder, and he was one of the more serious contenders for the governorship. Oh, we will never see it. It's that because they can sell you that. Like if nothing happened to him, they can sell you something else. It really is depressing. Um, but hey, Gavin Newsom, he's a California guy, right? I mean, I don't think you could do what he did and get elected in any other state other than maybe New York. Uh, And Texas. You know, Texas and California have a lot in common. A lot in common when it comes to people that they like who do weird sexual nonsense. The housekeeper ended up dead. When did that happen? Look, I heard this. His 13-year-old and his wife. Then I was like, huh, that sounds like somebody's got a beef against a judge who sent them up the joint, right? And then he got shot a couple of days ago, and the bullet grazed him. Then I was like, huh. So, I mean, I don't want to be all Lifetime TV with it, but it sounds a whole lot. It sounds like it's getting sketchier. Judge family. Hold on. That's South Carolina, right? South Carolina judge family shot. Let's see what we got here. Pretty sure your mother, son highlight legacy of power. June 15, 2021. A South Carolina dynasty. Mm-hmm. Oh, really? Somebody targeted Sotomayor? February 19th. I think they just say this shit. And then they, all right, well, judge's son killed, husband wounded in attack. This was the other one that was in New Jersey. Former client. The former client was arrested after Mr. Murdaugh survived being shot in the head on a road, South Carolina road. Mr. Murdaugh's, it sounds like murder. Mr. Murdaugh's wife and son had been fatally shot in June. All right, so what do they have to say about this? Sweet Jesus. A girl was killed by the son's boat. Are you serious? So let me get this straight. The son, who was like 16 or 17, killed the girl with his boat. Is this right, William? Let's put this on so people can follow what we're talking about. Is that right? So then this story is saying Alex Murdaugh, the prominent South Carolina lawyer whose wife and son were shot and killed in June, asked a former client to kill him this month so his other son could collect $10 million insurance payment, but survived being shot in the head, the police said on Tuesday. All right, I heard this story. I didn't know it was this guy. So in order to get his son to get the inheritance, he was going to kill himself. This is sounding worse for him. The prominent it was the latest startling twist in a series of mysteries that had brought intense scrutiny to the Murdaugh family and rural slice of South Carolina, where their family has held sway for more than a century. See, this is what happens when you're a big fish in a little pond, and then someone drags you out into the greater pond, and bigger fish eat you, right? I mean, he was a king in this little pond, and now he's got to deal with state federal prosecutors or federal prosecutors. You know what I mean? It seems weird. This whole thing seemed weird to me when I heard it. Though the central question of who killed Mr. Murdaugh's wife and son remains unsolved. This sounds weird as fuck to me. So his wife and his son are killed in June. He is then a couple of days ago grazed in the head. First of all, your hitman is shitty if he only grazed you in the head. You were this close. And then they arrest your hitman. And man, yeah, they're gonna dig into this guy's life and it's gonna find out that he's a shitty piece of fuck. Excuse my language. I don't accept them, but I mean, the former client, Curtis Edward Smith, 61 of Waldeboro Circle, was arrested and charged with assisted suicide, aggravated assault and battery, and insurance fraud in connection with the shooting on September 4th. The state police said that Mr. Murdaugh, 53, had admitted to the scheme on Monday, and that Mr. Smith had admitted being at the scene and getting rid of the gun. It was not clear if Mr. Smith, who was booked in the collection carrier, had a lawyer. Yeah, I think the problem is he was hanging out with lawyers. He got him into this shit. Mr. Murdoch has not been charged. What? Why? 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 He admitted. Okay, hold on. He was having himself killed. Okay. Hiring a hitman to kill yourself is not murder. Okay, I see your point. God damn it. Oh, this is, oh my God. So you can't, what can you don't have the gun. What could you charge him with? Conspiracy to commit suicide. No. God dang it. Wow. I wish I were a lawyer because I'm pretty sure I could come up with something that you could charge this guy with. But that seems to be amazing. But the guy who did the shooting is in jail. Charged with gun crimes, right? Admitted to being at the scene. The state police said Mr. Murdoch had admitted to the scheme on Monday, and Mr. Smith admitted to being at the scene and getting rid of the gun. It was not clear if Mr. Smith was booked up. Murdoch has not been charged, but one of his lawyers, Dick Harpootlian, said Wednesday on NBC's Today Show that he expected Mr. Murdoch to be charged with the crime. Yeah, he said Mr. Murdoch had nothing to do with the killing of his wife and son, of course. Mr. Harpootlian said Mr. Murdoch, and Mike, I lean out frame again, I'm sorry. Mr. Murdoch to be charged with the crime. He said Mr. Murdoch had nothing to do with it. Mr. Harpootlian said Mr. Murdoch had concocted the plan for Mr. Smith to shoot him after trying to stop abusing oxycodone and suffering from massive depression. Okay, so he was a drug addict. So maybe his wife was going to leave him because he was an oxycodone addict. And that's shit, it's hard to quit like heroin. And he's got all the money in the world. It will eat through your finances. Now your wife is like, what the hell are you doing? I'll swear to God, I'll get divorced. Right. But here's the problem with that angle. I hate to be sexist, but women talk. So if she would have turned up date with her son, one of her girlfriends would have said her husband, she was thinking about leaving him because of Oxycontin or Codone or something. So it would have leaked out. This one's a doozy. This one's a flipper. Mr. Murdoch had wrongly believed that his older son Buster would not be able to receive any life insurance payout if he died of suicide. Mr. Harpootlian said another lawyer, Mr. said, would not be able to receive any of life insurance payout if he died of suicide, Mr. Harpootlian said. Another lawyer for Mr. Murdoch, Jim Griffin, said in an interview that Mr. Murdoch has told the police that Mr. Smith was whom he primarily bought oxycodone from. Oh, so now they're going to charge Mr. Smith with oxycodone. So, oh God, gravy. I think this guy killed his wife. There's a lot of fuckery on this side of the table, which will impact your life, which causes your wife to say shit or do shit, which causes you to say shit or do shit. And some of it falls off the table like this. This guy sounds like he killed his wife to me. Let's put on the... Woo. Outrageous. All right, again, we're just making assumptions. Look, this is at this point, this is a true detective agency, and we're solving cases. I used to do this on Facebook, and then 6 months later, some like what I said would come like close to being what's happening. Because I'm telling you, man, this is not the movies. You can generally peg the bad guy, and I'd say like 80% of the cases, especially nowadays, but most people don't try and get away with the crime. They want to be overly dramatic and shoot up the wedding or the funeral. And everybody goes, yep, that was Bob. Bob said he hated her for leaving him and was going to shoot up the wedding. Oh, yep, that was Gary. Gary said he hated Bob and was going to go to his funeral and shoot a hole in it. You know, everybody knows you did it. No one has to go looking for you because everybody knows you did it. And then as soon as the adrenaline is off of you about that fast, the cops are on you just as fast. We've got a mustache issue happening. Wow. So you bought... Okay, so if you're going to have yourself killed, why not? If you're going to talk to... Man, this is all bad. This is all bad. This is what happens when you just get comfortable in your high status and your nonsense. And a fall from grace is you know, is unacceptable in that environment that you're living in. Mr. Mota referred to as co-defendant in the charging document from Mr. Smith. A police spokesperson, Tommy Crosby, said without elaborating that the police expected to bring more charges in the case. They're going to charge him with the wife. They're going to charge him with the murder of his wife and son. Before Wednesday, they're going to do this. They're going to take Mr. Smith, the hitman here, who, God dang it, the hitman here, who a day before the shooting, Mr. Murder had been pushed out of his family's law firm. A day before the shooting. This is unraveling, and it's gonna land on like at his. They're gonna, those movies on A&E where they're like rich and famous celebrity murder guys. He's gonna be one of these episodes. It sounds like he had a drug problem. His wife, because obviously he got pushed out the family law firm, so the family knew about it, right? His co-workers, the law firm knew about it, right? And then 2 people turn up dead and you turn up shot. Once had concocted the plan for Mr. Smith to shoot him after trying to stop abusing oxycodone and suffering from massive depression. The depression came because he couldn't stop using oxycodone. I got you. Mr. Rober had wrongly believed that his son, if you kill yourself, they would pay. I guess they will pay out if you pay them enough, right? Would not be able to receive any money. Mr. Harpoon said another lawyer, Mr. Murdoch, Jim Gregory, said in an interview that Murdoch had told police that Mr. Smith was whom he primarily bought oxycodone from. So the guy you had shoot you, you also buy oxycodone from. Why would I shoot one of my best clients? Yeah, Mr. Murdoch is referenced as co-defendant. They're going to bring more charges in the case. Before Wednesday, Mr. Murdoch's lawyer and spokeswoman had insisted that the shooting on a rural road in Hampton County, South Carolina, was not self-inflicted. Obviously not. There was someone else there. They had said that Mr. Murdoch had stopped to inspect a flat tire when someone in a truck pulled up and shot him for no reason. A story they now admit was false. So now you got your lawyer out there lying to you on television. Ugh. Sorry. They said Mr. Murdoch suffered a skull fracture. He was released from the hospital after 2 days. A skull fracture. So he was shot, but his skull was just too thick. Yeah, some people have thick skulls, and you see they got shot in the head, and it's like, I mean, it's genetic. Some people are taller than others. Some people are heavier than others. Some people have brittler bones. Some people are all cranium. Really, I mean, I got to tell you, this was pointed out to me on a morgue field trip, and then they actually had specimens. I was like, what? So yeah, your brain should be about, I guess, as thick as your finger. Some people it's doubly thick. So yeah, well, not doubly, but like if your skull is this thick, right, about that thick, yes, other people's skull are at least that thick, twice that thick. A day before the shooting, Mr. Murdoch had been pushed out of his family law firm, PMPED, which said it discovered that he had misused millions of dollars. He killed his family. The state police said on Monday that they had opened a criminal inquiry into the claims. Mr. Harpootlian said his client had used a large portion of the money, which was taken from clients and the firm, to pay for painkillers. He's over. He's done. Mr. Murdoch issued a statement after the shooting in which he apologized to his family and his colleagues, and he entered a drug rehab program in another state. Last week, the Chief Justice of South Carolina Supreme Court issued an order suspending Mr. Murdoch's law license under a provision of the court's rule that allows interim suspensions when there is evidence that a lawyer poses a substantial threat of serious harm to the public or to the administration of justice. When was the last time you used that? Because people are lying on, oh my God. It was all a stunning unraveling for Mr. Murdoch, who is part of a legal dynasty that had amassed powerful ties in South Carolina Low Country over the past century. His great-grandfather, grandfather, and father sequentially served as the top prosecutor across a 5-county region from 1910 to 2006. Mr. Murdaugh represented Mr. Smith as recently as 2015 in a lawsuit that Mr. Smith had filed against a forest management company based in Charlotte, North Carolina. He also represented Mr. Smith. Your drug dealer is also a client who, man, he also represented Mr. Smith in 2013 when Mr. Smith was given a ticket for driving up to 10 miles per hour over the speed limit. The shooting of Mr. Murdaugh came nearly 3 months after he returned to his family's large and rural property in Islington, South Carolina, Islington, or it's either Islington or Islandton. I'm leaning for Islington, South Carolina, and discovered that his wife Maggie and son Paul, a 22-year-old college student, had been shot to death. All right, probably was gonna do something to his wife, and your son shows up, and you got to kill him too, because he's gonna defend his mother. It has happened. But these giant houses, they always have security cameras, don't they? Good Lord, I don't even know. This story sounds crazy. Have been shot to death. At the time of his death, Paul Murdaugh was facing charges that he had drunkenly crashed a boat in 2019, killing Mallory Beach, a passenger, and wounding others. The killing also led to South Carolina Law Enforcement Division to open an investigation into the 2015 death of Stephen Smith, a 19-year-old man whose body was found in a road 10 miles from the Murdaugh home, and whose death was through the shooting and then a possible hit and run. Dude, what in the world is going on in South Carolina? Oh my God. So this breaks the family because the family wants justice for the 22-year-old, but the 22-year-old sounded like he was, good Lord, hold on. Really? They overturned his case 4 hours ago. This is the guy who shot that woman over his partner. His partner's in the driver's seat. He's in the passenger seat. A woman walks. No, I'm sorry. He's in the driver's seat. His partner's in the passenger seat. A woman knocks on the trunk of the car and walks up to the door, and he pulls out his service revolver across his partner's chest and face and fires the gun out the window into the chest of this woman, killing her. And I was like, dude, that is the wildest nonsense. Yeah, nope, we're gonna just get rid of this then. This is brutal. That is a brutal. Hold it. I want to get a look at the players. Murdaugh. Oh my gosh. Look at him. The face of a murderer. Look at him, ladies and gentlemen. Look at him. Right? Connected. Look at the first, that jacket says connected to power. Should be adjusted for those, the glasses. Turtle shell. His son. So his son murdered, and they think it was sort of a retaliation because of a girl's died in a car accident on his boat. So why wouldn't her family kill him? This is what happens when you give a 22-year-old boat. They're going to be drinking. They're going to be ridiculous. What are you going to do? Here he is. Murdaugh boat crash. Charges dropped against recently killed son. They dropped the charges on him. Why? He was recently killed. Why? 2 months after his death, charges have been officially dismissed against Paul Murdaugh in connection with a failed 2019 boat crash. Murdaugh was one of 6 underage people on the boat, a 17-foot Sea Hunter center console boat owned by his father, Richard Alexander Murdaugh. that crashed in the early morning, February 24, 2020, leaving 19-year-old Mallory Beach of Hampton County dead and injured several others. Police described the boaters as grossly intoxicated. Yeah, kids. Uh, Beach body was not recovered until 7 days later. So she fell over and into the water. The logo for the charity found in memory of the late Mallory Beach. Yep. So when was this written? Published August 9th, 2021. That was like last week. Wow. That's amazing to me. What the hell is this? Every time you click one thing, it opens up all these freaking other. Yeah, this whole thing seems to me like one or two things. You want revenge for your daughter, 19-year-old young lady. Here she is, right? You want revenge for this young lady, and some people don't think they're gonna get it. And but you know, taking that's sort of a very, we talk like that, but no one does that, right? I say this 1,000 times. I say this over and over again. If God rest you, Mallory Beach, uh, if what is that dude's name? From the Simpsons, right? Ron Goldman. If Ron Goldman had, after he cried every day, I mean, oh my God, watching him and his daughters cry, it was one of the saddest things at first, and then it happened so often. I was just kind of like, man, you're gonna get the wax in your handlebar mustache wet, right? Because I was just kind of like, and this is what it is. You can't see the same thing over and over again. The saddest thing in the world will make you cry that day and the next day and the next week. But eventually, that might be the next month or might be the next year. You will eventually be like, yeah, so what? Okay, I'm sorry to be, but I've seen this before and it no longer tugs at, right? But everybody cried and it was like, wow. And I'd always thought if Ron Goldman had blown OJ Simpson's head clean off his shoulders, he got arrested, he'd have got arraigned, they would have set a court date, no one would have found him guilty. Right? But it doesn't happen. So I don't think her family, this woman who was murdered, I don't think her family did anything. But I mean, it sounds good to lawyers, so that way they can throw up all this dust in trial. It's a case of a drunk boy, map and murder case, 4 deaths. Why am I even going to look at this? It just seems like some young people were drinking, and all heck broke loose. That's what it seemed like. What in the world? Stephen Smith is killed. Murder Island River House. Okay. Porky Island fatal boat crash. Right? And then she falls into the water, injured and drunk, and drowns. 6 is up here. All right, so the boat crash is down here. Where is this? Oh, okay. All right. That's a lot of room to roam. That's 5 miles. So this is about 5 miles. That's about 5 miles. That's about 10. This is about 25. This is about 5 miles. This is about 5 miles. All right. Stephen Smith run over. So here's the thing. Good Lord, I can't close this now. Here's the thing. Excuse me. Here's the thing. The first murder of the brother, is that Smith? This is what we have to look up. Is that Smith related to The Smith who timeline of murder mystery. Is that Smith related to the person who was found run over, shot and run over? Because being shot and run over, it sounds like somebody was trying to get you to me. I mean, if I'm trying to cover up a murder and it's a rural road, why not a hit and run? But here's the problem with your hit and run. Nobody stands still for a hit and run. You got to chase somebody around with a car. You got to catch people with hit and runs off the cuff, right? So if this guy knew you and he's running away, you got to shoot him first. Then he falls down. Then you can run him over. The way that they claim that that's a hit and run, that sounds bizarre to me. 87 years, the murder of Papa, family, 1920 to 2006. All right. One of three generations murder family for Target, Radaba, elected his father's son, pointed. All right. Where's that first murder? A boat crash at a bridge near Paris. They hit a, no. Did they hit a bridge or a boat? Did they hit? A boat crashes at a bridge near Paris Island in Polk County, South Carolina, February 24th, killing 19-year-old Mallory Beach. 6 people on board the boat at the time of the crash, according to 19-year-old Paul T. Murder. His father, Alex Murder, a local attorney and son of Randall Murder III, owns the boat. Stone, the 14th Circuit Solicitor, recused himself from scene because of the personal connection. Paul Murder is indicted on April on charges of boating under the influence, causing great bodily harm, and causing a death in connection with the crash. He pleads not guilty. All right, so drinking and driving to get you 10 years. Same thing on a boat. Causing a death somebody while you drink and drive, that can get you another 10, right? So you're looking at 20 years. And then he caused the, yeah. So I don't know. He was looking at a lot of time for somebody 22. All these connections, he probably would have walked with like a fine or some bullshit, and then he would have went into law practice. Alex Murdoch, 53, called 911 report. He has found his wife, Margaret, 52, and son Paul, then 22, shot dead outside of their home in Islandton, a small community about an hour north of Hilton Head. You come home, you find your wife and your son dead. You're the first person I suspect that they find your wife dead. Not so much your son or family members, but yeah, why just the one son? Randolph Murder III died peacefully at his home at 81. 3 days later. June 15th. SLED, realistic based information about the killing June, says Alex Murders has called 911 at 10:07 and investigated collect every that night. We continue to pursue all leads. All right. John Marvin Murder and Randall speak to Good Morning America about the killing. They say they called the sort with news that have a son been shot. They said they do not believe their brother is involved. All right. SLED acknowledges. What is SLED? SLED agent South. What is that? Something law enforcement division. I'm with the first guy, the guy who was run over. Look at this dude. Alice Murder, the fortune of Hopkins attorney leads a hearing in a personal injury lawsuit. Yeah. Alice Murder resigned from a law firm September 3rd. Murdaugh, his law firm Peter. Murdaugh, his name is Parker, Elstroth, and Dietrich. Ever since where Alice Murder had been shot in the head. Look at how many fucking rounds casings there are. He wasn't shot in the head once. I mean, he was hit once, but there's a lot of fucking shell casings all over the place. And then the dude got rid of the gun. What happened to his brother, though? This is a lot of fucking nonsense. Tuesday, September 14th. It was a conspiracy to commit fraud. Okay, what happened to the first guy who they found on the side of the road? Did we miss that? I hate to be the one that. Okay, I don't care about the history. 2006, hold on, a boat crash. Okay, Alex Murdoch, family community in North Hilton, dies in his home. Okay, forensic lab. All right, they don't mention it. I want who's that first guy though? That first dude who they found shot and stabbed. His name was Smith too. Huh. All right. Well, let's cut on the light. It's getting a little dark. What's the weather outside? Oop, that's not what I want to ask. Uh, when is sunset?
Sunset tomorrow will be at 7:10 p.m.
7:10. Good Lord. These sunsets are moving on a brother. Oh, well, actually, we might need this. That's crazy. I think he did it. I mean, I'm no scientist or anything, but why would the neighbors want to kill your wife and kid, right? I understand if it was hateful people who you put in jail, but he's not a prosecutor. He does defense for money, right? He gets people out of jail for cash. If he didn't get you out of jail, and you'd be in jail. But then you want to get revenge on him for whatever reason. You want to get revenge on him. You generally want to kill him, right? You don't want to kill his wife and his child, or hurt your, or whoever the case may be. So America and England are going to give Australia nuclear weapons because they're afraid of China. Yeah, so you want to talk all that shit about America, but everybody needs the world's policeman. We make the interesting shit that to kill people with. I hate to say it. Man, the amount of corruption. Mysterious disappearance of Instagram adventurer. Yeah, here's the thing about her. Her boyfriend killed her. I think her boyfriend killed her, and he said they got into a fight and she left. Here's my thing about that. That shit is true. I have had many women storm out in bad locations. I was like, "Where are you going?" I don't need double. I'm not gonna. Okay, fine. Grown ass women can do what they want. Yeah. You can. You're not supposed to go. You're not going anywhere and pick them up and put them back in the car. That's the thing. However, you have to prove to me that's what happened. That is really amazing. Yeah, I think he killed her, and nobody knows where he killed her. So the feds are going to have to get involved. She was on a nationwide trip with her boyfriend. Instagram. Good Lord, that is some really bad. Good Lord, that is really bad, baby. Influencer. Good Lord, man, what is up with my? Wow, they found her body. No, this isn't right. This is body of missing Instagram. This is November 2020. Sweet Jeebus. I mean, come on, ladies. Not Sharky. This is. I guess we got it. Here you go. Van life. First of all, why are you living in a van? That always seems stupid to me. Missing Indiana teen found safe 4 months after disappearance. 2 women arrested in connection. Yeah, I don't know. So this is a lady who was strangled 2 years ago. That's the guy who did it. I don't even know what to tell you guys. It's sad. She's a cutie too. 22 from Blue Point, New York, has been missing for almost 3 weeks. Over the past 2 years, she posted her countrywide travel. Huh. $3 ago. Her boyfriend did it. Her fiance, Brian LeDrew, has only spoken publicly about her disappearance through a family lawyer. She posted her countrywide travels on Instagram and TikTok. Yep. Van, here's a man. You can't live in a van. You can't. You get tired of driving. You want to people. You're always under people. Petito's parents told kids that the couple departed Salt Lake City to Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming on August 24th. The last image posted to Petito's Instagram was on August 25th of her holding a crocheted pumpkin with the caption "Happy Halloween." That's creepy. All right, so I wish her well, but man, I think the boyfriend did it. The boyfriend always does it. Utah police said they could have arrested her for abuse, so they were having fights. Wow. Really? Do we even want to look into this? Ugh. I think that's how you spell it, right? The boyfriend is named the person of interest. Here you go. Utah police stopped Gabby Petito and fiance after a fight on the road trip before she went missing. He killed her. Police in Utah say they responded to a physical altercation last month between a New York woman and her fiance while they were on a cross-country road trip, an alleged incident that occurred less than a month before her family reported her missing. A responding officer wrote Gabby Petito, 22, slapped Brian Ludery after an argument, according to a report from Moab City Police Department released Wednesday. But both her and Ludery told officers neither wanted to press charge and they love each other. Here's the problem. You do not understand people's temper. And we live in an age now of people, I'm talking to you young ladies, who put their hands on people. You better know them really well, right? Because anger is a flash. And before you know it, you know, it's like that woman on Cops. She was hitting that dude. She had to be like 5'1" or something. And he was a big dude. He had to be like, he wasn't like workout dude, but he was like 6'3", 6'4", giant, big old belly, you know, beer guy. And she was sitting there and chasing him out to the lawn and beating him up and hitting him. And he kicked her away from him. He just kicked her in the chest. And that was it for her. Stopped the heart. The cops rolled up. The whole neighborhood saw it happen. The whole neighborhood saw it. And the cops did the investigation, did the whole thing, declined not to arrest him at the scene. They said it's fairly cut and dry. What happened, right? He said he was trying to fend her off, and he just shushed her out of there with it, and like gave her a good kick, and that was it. And meanwhile, you see them paramedics trying to get a heart started again. I was like, man, why are you around people with this much drama? Your life, your love affair should not be a perpetual fight. The idea that you hit me and we stay together is ridiculous. I told my women friends this too. The idea that a dude hits you and you forgive him and goes back with him, that's on you. right? That really is. There's too many people in the world to fuck with people like this. And if they do it once, they'll do it again, and it'll just, you know, some shit festers, man. Yeah, so you bring up a fight. He took that van someplace. That van had the GPS in it, and he dumped her body someplace. And it's Arizona. It is not going to be easy. So what they'll do is they'll get the GPS in that car and see where he went and how long it may have been parked to stop. So you go, this place, it was parked for 5 hours. Okay, that's a hotel. He must have been asleep. It was 1 a.m. Oh, this place, it stopped for 40 minutes. Oh, this is on the side of a country road. Why would he? There's nothing around there. It's 1 p.m. There's no restaurants. Maybe he had to take a pee for an hour. What? Okay, let's start looking around this area where this car was. And hopefully that's just common sense shit. And they'll do that, and if she is gone, they'll find this young woman. But come on, violence. Why are we traveling in such close quarters if you're smacking people around? And if you hate, let's see, man, he did it. He absolutely did it. Both loved each other. The incident occurred in the afternoon on August 12th. According to a report, Petito's family says they lost contact with late August and reported her missing on Saturday. Laundrie is now a person of interest in the investigation into her disappearance, so police confirmed. Well, she just left, and that was it. She didn't call me. I just got in the car and left. Just drove back to New York because she just walked away, and that was it. So she didn't call me. I don't know what happened to her. Really? You didn't try and call her phone? You weren't concerned about her? She didn't leave? You didn't call her parents? Go, yo, your fucking daughter's out here in the middle of nowhere being ridiculous. You need to call her. She just stormed off. I can't make her get back because she's a grown woman. What do I do? Call her. Tell her something. Don't let her leave with random dudes. I've had that happen to me. Like some dude in a random bar. Get his name and his fucking phone number before you disappear on me like this is Dateline. Nobody's telling you women not to run around and sleep with, but do that shit with some fucking common sense in your head. On a cross-country trip. Outrageous. Right? 1 minute we're fine and in love and we're showing this shit on TV, on the internet, and the next thing we're a murder mystery. Laundrie. It's Laundrie. Laundrie. It's Laundrie. Representative for the family of both Petito and Laundrie did not immediately respond to NBC News' request for a comment on the Utah police report. The responding officer to the August 12th incident spoke with Petito, Laundrie, and a witness whose name was partially redacted in the report. All three individuals gave similar and consistent stories, consisting of the basic idea that the driver of the van, a male, had some sort of argument with the female, Gabby, as I recall, the report says. The male tried to create distance by telling Gabby to take a walk and calm down. She didn't want to be separated from the male and began slapping him. He grabbed her and pushed her back as she pressed upon him. He grabbed her face. I'm sorry. Oh, that's not good. What's going on with Mike? He grabbed her face and pushed her back as she pressed upon him and the van. So she was like on him, like, and he just mushed her. We call it a mush. He just grabbed the mug and was like, get out of here. That right there did you do that? That is absolute disdain for somebody. Like just grabbing somebody's mug and that's always a violent fight, right? I mean, why would you do that to somebody you claim to love? Yeah, he did it. The incident appears to be more a mental and emotional break than a domestic incident, police said. Yeah, you're in the car with the same person all the time. You get fucking people were killing each other during COVID. You know, in the beginning of COVID, people were like murdering their family members. No one reported that the male struck the female. Both the male and the female reported they are in love and engaged and happy to be married and desperately didn't want to see anyone charged with a crime. According to the report, there were no significant injuries reported and both agreed that Gabby suffers from serious anxiety. The couple agreed to separate for the night and no charges were filed. The Moab City Police wrote that, see, this cop right here, Beautiful job. This is what the job is. Not everything is an arrest, right? Sometimes you got to be like, all right, I'm going to make the judgment call of nobody needs to be arrested. No one had a black eye. Nobody was like, I'll fucking kill you. I'll fucking kill you, right? And you'll go, oh, okay, fine. All right, well, we got both your names and both your information. We got your license plate. We got your driver's license is good. You are both adults and of age, right? So, okay, I guess I could be a dick and arrest both you, a couple, all right, but it wasn't a punch. It was more of a, all right, I'm gonna cut you guys a break, right? It gets to be something that if I mean, I'm sure this happens a lot, and no one murders anybody. You can sit there and go, remember that time we took that road trip before we were married? Oh, and the cop pulled over, baby. Girl, man, I almost went to jail, But he gave us a break, and here we are with these 3 kids in this house, and right? It works out more than this cop did a great job, beautiful job. But sadly, I mean, but this is a chain to the events, right? The mobster officer he arrived on the scene near the Moonflower Co-op. He was looking for a white Ford Transit van, which was later stopped by another officer near the entrance of the Arch National Park. While on the scene, the mob officer said there were also 2 park officers there. The revelation that the police in Utah encountered Petita of Blue Point, Long Island, before she went missing comes as authorities continue to look for her and piece together her whereabouts. Petita was last known to be in Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming in late August when she stopped communicating with her family. Women always talk to their mothers, right? The couple has been documenting their travel in a white 2012 Ford Transit van on YouTube under the moniker Nomadic Static and Van Life. That van life, the Florida Place and Laundry eventually got back. That van, the Florida Place and Laundry eventually got back to the city of Northport, south of Tampa, but without the woman, police said. According to police, Laundry has not made himself available to be interviewed by investigators and has not provided any helpful detail. He has been named a person of interest by Northport Police. The FBI is assisting in the investigation because it spans it spans states, right? So once you move through states, the FBI gets involved, which makes sense. What? Wow. It is a sad thing. It really is. These young people ruin themselves like this. I'm telling you, there's a lot of anger. There's a lot of just aggression out of everybody. Hurricane Ida aftermath leaves New York prisons with contaminated water. There you go. Now what you're going to do? You're going to let them all out? Can't do that. The Village Vanguard. I haven't been to the Village. The Village Vanguard? Is the Village Vanguard reopening? Hold it. Wait a minute. The Village Vanguard was a thing, just like the Village Voice was a thing. And then when the economics of New York City changed, all the good everyday stuff went away so people could have $10,000 rents and $7 million apartments on the park and all this shit. Village Vanguard. Does the Village Vanguard still exist? The Village Vanguard is a jazz club at 7th Avenue in South in Greenwich Village, New York. The club opened on February 20, 1935. I thought it closed. Hold on, wait a minute. Where's the wiki? Early jazz recordings. Early years jazz. Okay. Maybe I was wrong. The club opened on February 20, 1935. Max Gordon. Originally, the club presented folk music and beat poetry. Became primarily jazz music venue in 1957. The Golden Triangle open its doors. A Golden Triangle Basement Phillies. Jazz. Maxine Solomon. Huh. I guess it's been open. Hold it. Wyoming, Dominican Marcellus. The world is. Okay. I guess it's been open constantly. I was completely wrong. Good job, Village Vanguard. Why? Wow. Why the National Guard's going to Rikers Island? Huh. Why? Connecticut Army National Guard soldiers. Why Connecticut? Connecticut Army National Guard soldier and Rikers correction officer charged with defrauding United States Department of Veteran Affairs. All right, that's something totally different. I came about that close to joining the New York National Guard. I was actually thinking about joining the Virginia Guard. Then I was like, man, why am I even bothering? More, I should have done shit like that when in my early days. But the way it plays out, it was not. Excuse me. Any of that good, cool stuff. Um, the National Guard is not going to Rikers. I was wondering about that. And Hoekstra, the new governor of New York, she hasn't done anything yet. I mean, she's only been governor for about 10 days, a week, 10 days. I'm giving her at least another 2-3 weeks before she really steps in it or does something goofy. I was one of those anti-Cuomo people before it was cool, right? I had problems with Cuomo when he let the Red Hook houses flood during Hurricane Katrina and didn't do anything for those people. Nothing. Nothing. Yeah, it is what it is. Where is he now? Probably dating a 30-year-old with all the millions from this book that apparently no one bought, but everyone puts on the National Times bestseller. So I don't think that whole Cuomo thing is over. We'll see what happens. Do we even want to see if she's really going to do that? Hoekstra. Huh. It's not Hoekstra. Governor of New York. Here you go. Hochul. Hochul. So Mike Richards is trending. We know why he's trending. He lost the race. Gavin Newsom is trending because he won the race. Why is Mike Richards trending? Again, new Jeopardy season begins with ousted host Mike Richards. Viewer react. Ex-Jeopardy host Mike Richards is TV's dead man walking. Okay, so the stuff that he recorded is hitting the air and people have something to say about it. Oh my God. This is today. Mike Richards rise to Jeopardy host sparks. I mean, you're just getting all this? Okay, so Larry Elder falsely claimed fraud before California recall votes are counted. Larry Elder as standard bearer won't help GOP's racist image. Huh. Why is he trending? This is what I want to know. Dims Newsom all about racism until Larry Elder is attacked. Larry Elder, a guy to Larry Elder, the right wing extremist could be the next government seat. They call him an extremist. It's all this. It's how the media goes after you. I mean, they've been doing it so long that you can see it coming. They'll call you like, not edgy, but what they call it, they're out of the periphery, right? They'll start implying you're mean to women. They'll have your ex-girlfriend say shit about you, right? It's they'll gin up. And here's the thing: he's been a political talker for 20 years. There's shit that he can say that you can actually take him on. But all these other people don't say stuff. They're just around, but they never say anything of any consequence. It's all word games and double talk. Like we said yesterday, the soul of America. What does that even mean? That's the kind of shit you get from these politicians who've been here forever. The soul of America. Concedes defeat and claims for. He's acting like, let's see, this is the arrogance. You were almost thrown out because you were a shitty governor. Stop acting like you won an election. You just managed to keep your gig. 3-1. But what was the polling? That's the polling is what gets me every time. The fucking polling. And then they tell you 5 days ago, up, pollings are changed just like that. And then it's over. Is she going to send in the National Guard? Hochul, Governor Hochul. And why would you need the National Hochul? Why would you need the National Guard for Rikers Island? Causing Governor Hochul, of course, to step up. Here's the problem. Rikers Island has been a hot shit show forever. Rikers Island is New York's very own Abu Ghraib. You know what I'm saying? Not Abu Ghraib. What's the place we have in Cuba? It is Abu Ghraib, right? Well, then this is what you do with these. You fire them. It's your job. You fire them. You hire manpower. If you need manpower, hire them. But you don't need to have the Army National Guard guarding prisoners. That's some old 1776 fucking British bullshit. Hell on Rikers Island. Yeah. People should be fired. People should, it's a shit show, but it's no one's fault. That's the problem. People are calling out sick. Be very careful because your whole thing will become about dealing with unions. And I'm pro-union, but I've seen a lot of unions get corrupt, like the fucking Teamsters when the guy who went missing was there, right? That was a haven for mobsters. So you want to make sure your union is clean and focused. And that also means knowing, when something is not a union job, it's just more of a, you guys have let what the military calls it esprit de corps, right? So you let the kind of sense of the job you're doing kind of wane, and we have to reinforce that. So we got to get rid of some of the bad actors. We got to promote some of the good actors. We got to hire some new people, get some new blood in here. We need new management. The bad guy should not be running your prison. And not just that, the bad guys who aren't sinister people should not be taken advantage of in your prison. But people just go, fuck them, they're criminals. We can do whatever we want. Oh, we'll feed them shit and we'll take that money, we'll add it to our salaries. All this evilness that we see from government people in America, and we have been seeing it for about 300 years. Definitely saw it in the last 200 years. No one fixes it. It's crazy. I'll be right back. 9:57. I'll be back in a minute. All right. So my whole week has been filled with looking at guitar videos and trying not to follow sports, right? Oh, not bad. Only like 50 seconds. Well, that makes sense. I get the National Guard driving kids school buses, right? I mean, they shouldn't have to. It's not really, but the National Guard is sort of, how can I say this and not be offensive? Is our fighting force for the state, right? So if your state needs you to shovel snow because we had an extra bad snowstorm, I get making those guys shovel snow. I totally get it. If we have a bad pandemic and we need people to drive school buses, I get it. I totally get it. I don't get them doing police work, which is not what it is, right? And I don't get them doing correction work, which is not what it is. They're not the same. When I got the job, I was like, there's several things I'm not doing. I would not be a corrections officer. I don't want to be. I don't mind catching you on the street. I don't want to be locked in with you. I don't care that I get to go home and I don't want to be locked in with you savages. I don't want to do that. Corrections is out for me. Just like firemen, not running and burning buildings. I'm not doing that for you. Other people will go, yeah, I'll do that, and I go, that's a bravery that I don't have. Knock yourselves out. That's all you. There's like planes and helicopters. I don't like heights of flying, right? But that's all right. I'll do it once or twice, but I'm not trying to like be your pilot or your water hose guy or like people know what they're good at or know what they'll tolerate. Maybe I could have got used to some of the stuff that I was just like a hard no to, but I don't know. I didn't have to. I went and looked other places. Um, so in national, I mean, look, you're just telling the kids to sit down. You got you driving, right? You got probably a person or two in the back, and you treat it like it's Full Metal Jacket, right? And you drive them to school as you yell at them about the way that middle school is or whatever the case may be. Uh, and then someone shoots somebody or hit somebody in the face with a pie in the bathroom. And then I guess that's my scenario. Yeah, well, see, exactly, right. So, and it was a good thing because that's why people aren't joining the National Guards now. Look, the National Guard used to be a force of men who, if you needed, like let's say California, will go up into the hinterlands and chop down some of these trees and make up fire breaks and all this stuff, right? Uh, you didn't need to train them in weaponry so much. But they go back to the Civil War, right, and the Revolutionary War. So they were always trained as militia, but you don't really need militia anymore. And then after World War II and Vietnam, everybody always wanted to. Oh, I didn't join the military, but I want some of that military swag, and I'll show you the uniforms are slightly different too. Uh, National Guard uniform. New York Army National Guard soldiers pose for a picture. Yeah, they look good. Uh, but when I was looking into it, they had dark tops and black and 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 camel pants. Yep, can't even mess with it. But I mean, you need these people to really exactly riot control, just in case the Proud Boys march here. You bring down the other National Guard to buffer up the cops, right? You don't need the army. You don't need the and they were. I mean, they were the National Guard, right? I mean, they really are Minutemen. And now George Bush came along, just threw all of them in Iraq. Yeah, the American president who can activate, who can take control of your National Guard, right? That's why he's the commander in chief. He also commands your he can the National Guard is the commander in chief is the governor of the state, uh, but the president can supersede his authority. And people who never wanted to do it ended up in Iraq. It's just, and then people are like, yeah, you know what? The American military is full of not people like, but like homeland citizens who would have joined the march saw that and was like, yeah, no. And on top of that, the other thing that George Bush did was people who stayed 4 years, he was like, yeah, we're going to extend your enlistment another 2 years and another 2 years, right? And people who signed up for 4 years was doing like 10 years. And some people who should have been out at their 4 year mark were kept, and they were killed by IEDs or whatever. After you held them over, they should have been home. They should have had wives and kids, or husbands and kids, or whatever the case may be. Right? It really is just kind of like, oh, so there are rules, but fuck the rules when you say so. Right? It's like, this thing going around now, right? So people are saying, you don't have to do it like everybody else, but if you don't do it, you can't fly, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do anything. So you have, I guess you have rights, I guess. Uh, we've been streaming for an hour and 13 minutes. Oh my God, we're coming up on 2 minutes. Are we going to extend the show or are we going to end the show? I think we're going to end the show versus extend the show. Um, Normally I don't talk celebrities. Uh, there was that oh my God, there was that it's I mean, he's just the most, this picture, right, of Trump and right, I mean, he's looking at him like peering at him, kind of like he makes notes. That dude, I mean, no one runs evil establishments like the Asians, right? Like North Korea was a hot shit show. Pol Pot ran amok. Now China is just wiping out and holding internment camps while they make our TVs and our iPads. We're putting, I mean, just so ridiculously sinister. However, we undo them, and they need to be undone. Uh, and it's going to be us again, I think. However, we undo them, we undo them. But I think they bribed a lot of American officials. I really do. Apparently, there are some famous singers who don't want to get vaccinated. Uh, I'm sort of not even over it. Like, I don't care. I kind of don't care. Uh, First of all, if the song is good, why do I need to know if you're vaccinated? Can't you make a song in your house and then just release it on something? Versus me going to see you in person, right? You screaming, ah, spittle flying every place. Crazy. Prince Andrew to be served by UK High Court in boost for rape accused of Virginia Dufresne. Is it Dufresne or Gouffre? Just good Lord. People are so disgusting. So disgusting. Look, here's the problem. People are what their philosophy is, right? So if your philosophy is one thing, you won't be caught doing something different. Uh, so if your whole thing is party, 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 smoke weed, run around, have a lot of sex, that's kind of like your philosophy, right? You're doing these things. Then all of a sudden people ask you about like the children, and all of a sudden it's, oh, we must always think about the children. But you don't really do anything for the children. You don't really care about the children. And then it just ends up on the cover of something. Wow, there is just a ton. Okay, well, R. Kelly's on trial. We're not hearing a lot about R. Kelly's trial. Here's the problem. There's a lot of people who knew what R. Kelly was up to in Hollywood and in music, right? So you can't really put a lot of that on television without asking questions about management and agents and all these other people, his handlers and hangers on. Trillions of dollars, baby. Norm McDonald. Yeah, well, as you flip through this, there's not very much good shit here to talk about. I mean, the unprecedented, the unpretentious melancholy farewell from Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood should have left like 20 years ago. He's, I mean, he's writing the worst shit. He's trying to go back to write modern day cowboy movies. Um, they're uninteresting. They're not introspective or soul searching. They're just sort of a 90-year-old man beating up 30-year-old guys and having threesomes with 20-year-olds. You're like, what is this shit? Whose wish fulfillment nonsense is this? 1 in 5 Americans have died of COVID. I had a cousin die last week from COVID. Um, yeah, the whole environment is goofy. Okay, we got to look up Matthew Cawthon. Why is he in a wheelchair? Okay. Oh, that's not a good picture. He looks crazed. Uh, 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 he looks like he's plotting something against you. I would have asked to take that again. He looks like a Stepford husband. Early life and education. Personalized sexual misconduct allegations. Come on, man. He was born August 1st, 1990. Good Lord. He was born August 1st, 1995. Oh my God. Homeschooled makes a lot of sense. As a teenager, he worked at a Chick-fil-A restaurant. Why is that up here? That right there is the dog whistle to some people. At 2004, at age 18, Carlton was seriously injured while returning from a spring break trip to Florida. He was riding as a passenger in the BMW X3 SUV. There you go. When his friend fell asleep at the wheel, the SUV crashed into a concrete barrier while Carlton's feet were on the dashboard. Your feet were on the dashboard. Maybe that's your problem. In the 2019 speech, Cawthon said that Ledford left him to die in a fiery tomb. Ledford publicly disputed this in 2021, saying that he pulled Cawthon from the wreck once he escaped the vehicle. In the deposition, Cawthon said that he had no memory from the accident, while Ledford said that he had helped rescue an unconscious Cawthon. In the same 2017 speech, Cawthon declared that he was declared dead on the scene of the accident, but the official accident report listed Cawthon as incapacitated, which doesn't even mean unconscious. It just means you can't move. The injuries from the, and he sounds like a liar. The injuries from the, he reminds me of? Zach Brannigan. The injuries from the accident left Cawthon partially paralyzed, and he now uses a wheelchair. He said he accrued $3 million in medical debt during his recovery. He has received that amount as settlement from an insurance company, as well as other payments, and as the federal one is seeking $30 million more. U.S. Representative Mark Meadows nominated Cawthon for the United States Naval Academy in 2014, but his application was rejected before his 2014 car accident. Cawthon had claimed during his congressional campaign in advertising that the accident derailed his plans to attend the academy. Cawthon, he's a liar, said that at the time of the injury he knew only that he had been nominated for the academy and that he had expected to be accepted, and added that he never said that he had been accepted before the accident took place, but could have applied again later. But in lawsuit deposition, Cawthon admitted that he had been rejected before the accident. During the fall of 2016, well, now he's a congressman, attended Patrick Henry College, studying political science, but earned mostly D grades and dropped out. Okay. He said his grades were low primarily because his injuries had interfered with his ability to learn. Cawthon said in the deposition, suffering from a brain injury after the accident, definitely, I think it slowed my brain down a little bit, made me less intelligent, and the pain also made reading and studying very difficult. And he's your congressman. He also said he withdrew due to the heartbreak after his fiance broke up with him. But I get that. From January 2015, Cawthon worked as a staff assistant in Representative Mark Meadows' district office. He worked there full-time, but it was a part-time role. Yeah, sexual misconduct, 2020 campaign. Several women came forward accusing him of sexual aggressive behavior, sexual misconduct, sexual assault. Katrina Kruger described that incident when she was 17 and Cawthon was 19, in which Cawthon pressed her to sit on his lap and intended to kiss her forcibly twice. She resisted. Oh boy! All right, everybody. We can't even read into this anymore. Some people feel upwards because of who they know. So it is 8, and we are just about done. We got one more thing here. General Mark Miley, right? Do we want to start this? You want to hold this for tomorrow? We'll hold it for tomorrow. We'll hold it for tomorrow. What I want to do is crash out now and handle other stuff. It's been a day, man. It's just been a day. I will see you. Excuse me. Have a good night, William. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Yeah, so my thing about General Miley, they're talking about he undercut Trump and hit like the nuclear codes or whatever that means. And then he spoke to his counterpart in like, yeah, I think we're gonna have to read that. I don't feel like reading it now. We're gonna read tomorrow because it sounds like they're saying very nicely that he sort of betrayed his oath and like the nation by the, I mean, they're not gonna say that, but that's what that whole title means, right? So I'm wondering what General Miley is gonna do about it. Because that's just crazy. You shouldn't let that stand. Somebody says that about you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men and women, bushes and trees, fish and fowl. I will see you tomorrow, 6:30. This has been your hump day. and tomorrow is a Thursday, and you got one more day before the weekend. Just one more day. It's gonna be pretty sweet, pretty sweet. So plan for it. You don't have to spend money, but go out, take a Sunday morning stroll, take a Saturday afternoon stroll. Uh, go to the beach, go to the library, right? Sure, some libraries have outside areas. Sit and read something in the library, outside area. Uh, don't get so despondent that you turn to drugs and drink. He said, picking up his drink. Um, Drinking occasionally, I totally get it. Uh, Drinking daily, yeah, I kind of get that too. But we are not all the same, and some of us take things differently. And you got to know when to say when. Don't drive your boat on it and hurt some nice girl in your tax bracket, causing your dad to jump on oxycodone or cotton. And then before you know it, there's bodies everywhere, literally. Um, all right, boys and girls, I will see you tomorrow. It's we've been streaming for an hour and 26 minutes. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 6:30. Saturday, I'll see you then at 6:30. And then Sunday, remember, I'll see you at 7:30 a.m. on Sunday mornings. But every day, Monday through Saturday, 6:30. Please like and subscribe. It's super important. It helps the channel out. Uh, and we will see you in the next one. Oh my gosh. We will see you in the next one. All right.